All right. Hey. It's the Swinetime Podcast, and we got our special guest today, Kevin Downey Jr., fantastic comedian, all-around great guy. And
Thanks, buddy.
yeah, and I came into town to New York and wanted to stop by and get you on my podcast. So thanks for coming in.
Pleasure's mine, man.
And so you've been busy doing a lot of shows out here on Long Island at Governor's Comedy Club and just getting some good work, huh?
Yep, can't complain. I'll be there Sunday too, the night before what's his face's day,
Columbus Day, and I didn't even realize that Columbus Day was coming up because I'm not in school anymore. So
yeah, I just found out too. I was like, oh, is it? Okay, cool.
You know, they have a bunch of holidays, like Columbus Day and all these different days. I think they should have a holiday for voting day, so that so that when there's an election, there's no controversy, right? Everybody has to be able to make it to vote.
Yeah, give everyone the day off. There's no way not to be there. We don't need drop boxes or anything like that. But yeah, I think there's probably a reason we don't do that.
I mean, yeah, which you can't say on Facebook with and YouTube with keeping your channel, but yeah, I've been thinking that I'm like, man, we have all these crazy holidays that are basically just a day off of school, and why don't we have the election day holiday where everybody just gets the day off of work so they can go vote? I mean, if we're gonna have all these other holidays, why wouldn't you have that once a year?
Yeah, I think. Well, I think it's because they don't really want people to vote or something like that. Hey, we all voted and we all talked afterwards and we didn't vote for that.
Yeah, exactly. So, but that's always one thing I've thought about the all these days off. So, but you know what? Having a Monday off of work before Sunday shows end up being kind of like Saturday shows.
Yep.
When you don't have work the next day a lot of times, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so this will be fun. Should be a big crowd.
Yeah, man, that's great.
You're gonna be on.
Yeah, I'm doing a spot as well. I'm super excited to be there. Yeah, I've had a run from Washington D.C. to New York, and then Monday I go back home. So yeah, it's been pretty great. What's that?
Chris agrees with us.
Chris agrees. Oh, dang, yeah. What up, buddy? Yep, get rid of the ballots, baby. So thanks for joining, guys. This is great. We're moving. This must be a good time of day to do this. And it's crazy things going on in the world right now, man. I woke up and my buddy who's into a lot of he's the I guess you'd call him a conspiracy guy, but he's been kind of right about stuff, And but then he woke me up with these messages about Israel and war in Pakistan. What do you think? You got any knowledge on that stuff? Because we just woke up and that's like going on in the world right now.
If there's one thing I'm lacking is knowledge. But here's what I do know. I know in 20 minutes I've seen more videos of the war with Hamas and Israel than I have of Ukraine and Russia, and it's been over a year. That says something to me. I don't know what it says. Maybe there's not as much fighting as we think. Maybe there's no fighting over there. I think there's some. There's got to be. They'll talk about, well, we've had 50,000 people killed, but you just don't see any of the videos. And then again, some of the videos we're seeing, I don't even know what we're looking at. Like they're like, oh, look at this country's going nuts in support of Hamas. But like I said, that could have been a New Year's Eve celebration from 2 years ago.
Yeah.
So you don't know what can be believed and what can't be. But I will say this: I've already seen more videos of this fight than I have of Ukraine, Russia.
Well, it's too also interesting that you say that, what to and not to believe, because in that book, 1984, they were constantly making stuff up to keep the people in a state of, fear, so that they would be easier to control and stuff. So I think that it's kind of interesting that now people are kind of like, is that true? Is that not true? Because the news has lied to the people on so many different occasions that you start to question everything. And that, like George Carlin said before he passed away, question everything, question everything. Yeah. And Chris was putting up a good question in the chat there. He says, worries me due to our current leadership. How are they going to profit on it?
Oh, that's true. You know what? If there's All right, so they're making profits in Ukraine. Obviously, we're sending them money, and some of it comes back. There's going to be a way to profit here. That's, I mean, I'm not a big fan of U2, the band, but they have a line where they say something about war and gold is the reason for the wars we wage. It's almost always about money or real estate. Sometimes about ideology. Now, Hamas and Israel hate each other. So I don't think they're in it for monetary reasons so much, but Iran is going to make money on this. The U.S. is anyone not dying will make money.
Now, what about the fact that U.S. gave a bunch of money to Iran? Does that play into this all happening?
Oh, I think so. I mean, they gave him $6 billion, and well, it's Iranian assets. Well, that's what Obama said when he got caught sending a pallet of cash over there. It's their money anyway, and Iran promised not to spend it on dubious purposes. And then a few weeks later, boom. Like, you can't tell me. See, if I say, Brian, here's $100. Don't spend this on candy. This has to go for healthy food. You can't spend it on candy. You go, okay. And you take $20 and you give it to your friend. You go, hey, go buy some candy.
Mm-hmm.
So you technically didn't buy it.
Right.
Or maybe here's $100. You go, all right, this will not go towards candy, but you take a 20 out of your back pocket and you go, I'm buying candy with this money. But now you still, see what I mean?
Yeah. So you didn't break the agreement per se.
Yeah. You didn't break your 100, but you still spent money on candy.
Yeah. Okay. That seems like something. Yeah. As a kid, I would have done if my
right.
If I had $1 and my mom gave me $1, because back when I was a kid, you could get a candy bar for $1.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. Do you think there's should people, as an average person out there, I mean, I'm going to you as advice as if you're an expert, but
Yeah.
what?
I'm a guy who needs a shower. That's all I do.
Yeah, totally, dude. I mean, is this a way to keep the people in fear? Is this going to blow into something bigger? Or, I mean, because once again, it seems like all the little people. Well, I mean, I don't know. It seems from those videos, so it seems like everybody's on those streets is getting involved in that. That's a whole different world.
It is. Here's what I think. Well, so there's a war before where all the countries around Israel just attacked at once. Now, what Israel's going to do is they're already starting. They're going to blow up. They're blowing up those apartment buildings where those Hamas guys live.
Mm-hmm.
They're blowing those up. And when they do that, children will be killed. And now Hamas will show videos of young Palestinian children or young and, lying under rubble. And they're going to go, what? And now we're seeing videos of that woman, that Israeli woman, supposedly no clothes on. They took her clothes off. She was wearing her underwear. She was dead in the pickup truck and they're spitting on her.
Mm-hmm.
Now that's going to make people mad. People are going to get, and it's just going to build and build. Will there be another major conflict over in the Middle East over this? I don't know, but I do know that Israel is going to really blow things up. They're going to kill a lot of people, and that's just going to make their enemies angry. The Arab world is going to be angry, or whatever world, and it's just going to compound. And so it's very possible another country jumps on board any minute.
I hope this ain't World War III, but a lot of people think this is like what starts it off.
Yeah. I can see it. If you look at how World War II started, everyone thinks it started September 1st, 1939, when Hitler rolled into Poland. It really didn't. It started before that. Japan went into China earlier in the 30s. Italy went into Abyssinia a little after that. And, well, what do you know? Germany, Japan, Italy, all on the same side fighting. So that's how these things happen. It just doesn't go, all right, we're kicking it off now. Go. That's just not the way it starts. And or not in World War II anyway. You had these three things go on. And then Germany was the third of those things. And that's when they really got in on it. Or that's when I should say more of the Western world got in on it. But yeah, so we've got Ukraine and Russia going. Now we've got this going. What's next?
Yeah.
Oh, I know. China and Taiwan. Now we've got three things going. Now you've got all the ingredients of a World War III.
Wow, dude. Wow. Now, being that I meant to come on here and kind of talk about comedy.
Yeah, we should do that.
No, but I want to talk about, because how is this going to affect our, the gigs and stuff. Do you think, and everything that's going on in the world, with upcoming elections and everything, what is going to be, and not just for comedy, but let's say people working in general, right? But for the sake of this podcast, since we're both comedians, is this going to affect, I know if there's a war, we'll still do our gigs, but how's this going to be?
Right. Right now, I don't see any change. I think this weekend, nothing's going to change. We've got the thing going on in Ukraine. We've got this going on until it hits home. Remember, World War II was Europe was just slugging it out, and a German U-boat was along the coast of the U.S. taking pictures of like a carnival on the coast. Like it didn't affect us then.
Yeah.
The first thing that could possibly affect, especially comedians, is if gas goes way up.
Okay.
Because now a $200 drive from, let's say, Detroit, where I'm from, to New York, that's 200 round trip in gas and tolls. Well, now that's going to be maybe 300. So
you might have to say no to some gigs that you used to be able to say yes to because the profit ain't going to be worth it.
Profit is going to go down. That's the price of gas is the number one thing that impedes and or affects comedians making money on the road. If it's $2 a gallon, you're making money. When it's $4, you're maybe paying bills. Maybe even falling back a little.
Yeah, you could be, especially depending on your hotel situation, right?
Yep.
Whether if the club is giving you a hotel, if you're not getting your own hotel.
Right. And then you blow a tire.
Yeah. 100%. You get a speeding ticket.
Yeah. And that's exactly. So yeah, I tell comedians, I have comedians that they were cheering when Joe Biden won. I said, dude, the price of gas is going to go up.
Yeah.
And you know what? Your $100 middle spot in State College, Pennsylvania is not going to be worth the drive anymore.
Right.
And they felt it later. And they still, they vote the way they vote, and that's their business. But you're actually voting your way out of an industry. You know what? Because let's say the closer's making more money. So he's going to profit a little less, but he's still going to eat.
Yeah.
But the middle acts, what, $100 a night, maybe?
Dude, it's been $100 for a feature since 2002 at least.
All right, it's been $100 for a feature. I started in '89. It's been $100 for a feature, and I didn't feature anywhere, But I'd say my first feature spot was $100, maybe 75, but it was usually 100, and that was in the mid '90s.
Wow.
Yeah, and I know some clubs, well, COVID is so bad, we can't pay our MCs that $50 anymore. Like, you were paying MCs $50 in the '80s during the boom.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
man.
now 30, 40 years later, now we can't afford that anymore.
Yeah. That's
and look, when you look at these big clubs in the Midwest, they went from 4 nights a week down to 3, down to 2. But they always paid $100, and that was always the going rate. And it still is, and people still are like, okay, cool. But the reason the money can't go up, even though the beers have gone up, and the club, they're paying more for rent. I totally get that. But the reason the money will never go up is there's always a comedian. You do it for $100. They'll come and go, I'll do it for 90.
Yeah, totally.
We're the reason that's still $100.
Yeah. Yeah,
I'll do it for free. I just want to say I was middling at the Chuckle Hut.
Yeah, that's 100% true. Yeah, because it's one of the businesses where everything else you keep going up with the times, but that's just staying the same. But that's because guys are always going to be, or girls or comics are always going to be jumping on those spots.
Yep, 100%.
So
100%.
So let's see. Chris says, move to West Michigan. Detroit is the political nemesis of the rest of the state.
That's 100% true. So I'm a Michigan resident, not in Detroit anymore. We moved out a long time ago, Chris. We moved to the suburbs, but I know what you're saying about Western Michigan. So Western Michigan, especially what they call Michiana, like that's still God's country, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like you can wear a MAGA hat without some pink-haired harpy spitting on you.
What's going to happen? What's your predictions for the next election? Because 1 year from now, man, it will be we will be in some real. This is crazy, but 1 year from now, we'll be just a few weeks away from the final election. Who will be running? What's your predictions?
All right, if there is an election, because Ukraine's not having an election until the end of the war, so they're not voting to preserve democracy. It's not entirely impossible to be that Joe Biden pulls something like that. I say that on my radio show all the time, so I hope you don't mind my saying it here.
No, and tell give a shout out to your radio station.
Oh yes, I'm on Monday through Friday, 10 to 11 a.m. linewsradio.com. It's the only funny, pro-America, anti-commie show on the Eastern Seaboard that I can find.
Oh, dude, we're gonna have to get into the commie thing. What I saw, but
oh yeah,
and then we'll close it out after that.
All right,
but well, so you think it's nobody knows, right? I don't see how Biden can possibly make it another year, but
no, I don't think he's gonna run.
Yeah, I think they're gonna put in my enemy from California, Newsom, in there.
I think so too,
and
they might bring in my enemy from home, Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer.
Yeah, she's my enemy too. I mean, she's somebody. People who are like that, but are just. I mean, But so, one thing. So when I was going into the city, New York City, to do some shows, I saw this stickers, and they were posted up, and they said they were for communism, and they had a picture of Karl Marx, and they said, join communism, let it be, spread your voice.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there like, whoa, man, in New York City, like seeing this, and I know New York, and I'm sitting there like, dude, it's hard for me to gel. And before all this, maybe 2018, I come to New York, oh yeah, this place is awesome, blah, blah, blah. But now I'm like, man, it's just weird, dude.
Yeah, it's not what it was. Here's the sick part. They took down a statue of Thomas Jefferson. They're going after George Washington, but there's that same neighborhood you were in, there's a statue of Karl Marx in a park up there that some guy bought and
put up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, there was a picture, dude. I just saw it. I was like, I should have done a video on it, but I was like kind of thrown off. You're busy, you're in a hurry walking, and then you see that and I don't want to give them publicity.
Right.
But so because you're familiar, what are the because you said there's like 45 things that the Marxist people do.
Oh yeah, the 45
communist
goals of communism has entered into the Congress in I think 63, could be 58, could be 63, I forget. But if you look at some of them, it's the Atomic Energy Union. Those don't matter. There's a lot of them. They're supposed to take over the Hollywood, which they've done.
Yeah, they've totally taken over Hollywood.
Yeah, TVs and movies. They tried to take over radio. Here's the thing. They didn't take over AM talk radio. That's conservative. But the stations are very, like even out in New York, the station that plays the conservative shows, they have like liberal news in between saying things the complete opposite of what the guy in the radio just said.
Okay.
And I actually heard Ann Coulter on one of these stations. She's talking. She goes, the guy on the break totally lied to your listeners when he said this.
Wow.
And I catch it all the time because I work in news. So yeah, they have taken radio, I guess. Another one is take over the school curriculums. That's why they're teaching that. What do you call it? That
critical race theory?
Yeah, thank you. Critical race theory. And they said they're not teaching it. A guy in Detroit school said, yeah, we are teaching it. Like he came out and said it.
Yeah.
And some comic goes online going, they're not teaching that. I go, except for when they admit they are. And he goes, well, that's a lie. No, that's the teacher saying, yeah, we're doing it. And F you, like we don't care. We're doing it. So they did that. Take down the statues, rewrite the history, just like Mao did in China.
Break up the family unit.
Oh, that's a big one. You got to break up the family unit. Got to end Christianity. Those are the two things that the Marxists need to. That's the two they need to get. You got to end Christianity and get people to believe in the system, the Marxism, not God or anything. Okay. Well, people who believe in God, like they're harder to control.
Well, that means I'm going to church 3 times tomorrow.
Yep. Look, Chris says Soviet said, yeah. See, there you go, banging his shoe on the. Yeah, that's this. The things I'm saying, like. It's out there, just shocking to me how few people know it.
Now, why would anybody support any of this nonsense, communist bull crap?
Well, it starts with you get the malcontents that you get people, and the malcontents now are rich white kids.
Okay,
that's who's pushing this Antifa nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
The rich white kids, and you get them saying, "Yeah, it's unfair," even though they grew up in beautiful neighborhoods. Like they didn't grow up in Detroit, but it's they tell everyone it's unfair. They they tell poor people you're poor because of those middle class people, and that's what they did in Soviet Russia. But here it's black against white, rich against poor, and so there are these idiots that go, yeah, it's got to be fair. We all got to be poor. No, this is the country where we could all be rich.
Totally,
we could all be rich.
Well, that's a major problem. I feel is that they're always bringing people down, not up.
Always, and if you look at Candace Owens, so she like a well-respected black woman who's conservative, and she has said it better than anyone. She said every 4 years the Democrats come to the black community and say, hey, you're poor and it's their fault, we're going to help you, and they haven't done anything. It's gotten worse. And if you look at every toilet city in the U.S., St. Louis, Detroit, Seattle, Portland, to a T, almost. I wrote about this at PJ Media. Almost every city is run by a Democrat.
Yeah.
I think I found one that had a Republican mayor, but a Democrat city council. And it's just all they do is run it into the dirt. Because remember, for some people, it's not about anything more than getting revenge for what they feel. And some things were bad. Like if you look at slavery, yeah, that was bad. But you don't get revenge now.
Right.
You just fix it.
A little bit late. Yeah.
A little bit late. Yeah. Or, well, Jim Crow was evil. And I see these comics, they post this stuff. Look at this. And it's always like a black and white or maybe a sepia photo of, white people. They hung a black guy. And even if the picture's real, go, okay, yeah, that's horrible. It's 112 years ago. Like, that's not today.
Yeah.
That's not what's going on today. We fixed that. And if you need to go back 100 years to get angry at something, well, then you probably just got too much time on your hands.
Right.
Or life is a little too good for you.
Yeah. You got to kind of move forward.
It's
because there is a lot of stuff from the past that, it's called the past. For a reason, you just got to pass on by it. So, but so that's just some crazy stuff. When I saw that, I just really it kind of got to me, dude. And I'm like, dang, this is supposed to be America's city.
Yep.
And it's been taken. So what do you think? What do you think the options are? How do the good guys win?
So here's what's hard. Yuri Bezmenov said, once you convince someone, once you demoralize them, you can make them believe anything. Now, you can show them pictures. You can take them to a concentration camp. They're not going to believe it. So the problem is we're dealing with that sort of thing. Now, people don't realize just how bad it is. They don't, because the news won't tell them. Especially like the poor black communities, they're starting to stand up. I saw a video of Chicago. They're going nuts with these illegal immigrants. Like they've had it. They've absolutely had it. But is it too late? I don't know. I think it's never too late. I think what happens is people need to stop thinking this is not my problem. This is not, let someone else deal. I tell people on the radio every day, if nothing else, I said, you want to help? And I said, I'm not just trying to build my show. Tell them to listen to my show because I'll give them the facts of what's going on. That way, you don't have to go to a party and be that guy. Oh, here comes Mr. Conspiracy Wacko. And
right.
Even though what you're saying is true. I think we win. I think the good guys win. There's so many whistleblowers from the IRS and the FBI coming forward, and you're going to see more of that. I think what really saved this nation is three things. Republicans won the House the last election. America's first crackhead left that laptop with all the evidence. And remember, the FBI went to the major outlets and said, "Oh, this is Russian disinformation." So when you see it, Facebook, just take it off. So if you wrote about it on Facebook, we got to take him out.
Yeah.
So they were hiding it, and everyone knows that. And I'll probably pay the price for saying that, but I say it on the radio every day. So I'll just. I think we win. I think we win this, and I think I don't know if Trump is going to really run. I don't know if he's going to be around to run. But I think.
And what do you mean around to run?
Oh, I don't know. He's a threat. Like if they don't put him, they're going to try to put him in jail. And if that doesn't work, what are they going to do next?
Do you think that they'll succeed in getting him in jail?
I don't know. I mean, they might succeed in convicting him, but you're going to have to go through the Secret Service guys. They're not going to just throw him in jail with the rest of the people. It's just never going to happen.
Right. I mean, how could the Trumpster be sitting in there with the guy that's done 2 murders or something like that, right?
Yeah, they would love to see that. They would love to see that. I don't know. I think major things are going to happen between now and election day of, I'll say inauguration day of 2025.
Yeah. I mean, from now, because next year it'll be October, there'll be another October surprise.
Yeah, there's going to be tons of those.
Just like the October surprise, this already was guy getting kicked out of the McCarthy.
Yeah, that was fun. I was all for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think there's going to be a crisis or 2 or 4 between now and election day, because that's how they scare and control people. I mean, look at how quickly with COVID everyone just panicked. Stay home. Okay. Close your businesses. Okay. What do we got to do to not get it? And over 99% of the people who got it survived.
Yeah. And the worst part was that the people who, well, I don't know if it's the worst part, but another bad part about that was that the people who closed down, who didn't want to close down their business, got so much flack and just attacked by people who wanted them to close down. It's like, no, this is important. This is their livelihoods, their food,
Yeah. I remember on Thanksgiving, we were in a restaurant and you had to wear your mask to get to the table. And I'm at the table, no mask. You don't got to wear it. And I'm going to the bathroom and I stand up and the guy goes, "Put your mask on." I said, "Because COVID doesn't get you down there. It gets me up here."
Yeah.
And the way, "Sir, you got to put your mask on." I said, No, I'm going to the bathroom. Just bunch of idiots.
Yeah.
Easily controlled. That's how violence starts. You get people just so scared that they or their kids are going to get sick because that guy stood up without a mask. When you sit down, you're fine. But when you stand up, COVID comes. The idiocy of it all and the ease with which so many morons fell for it is terrifying.
I do think a lot of it was political, right? Because a lot of the people who had the masks they might not even have believed it as much, but it was their political statement that they were making.
Statement. Trevor's on my side. Thank you, buddy. Yeah. I'm telling you, man, I'm shocked and I'm kind of embarrassed at how easily humankind,
You're right.
Don't want the lefty screaming. Just fell. Just, okay, what do we do now? They could have said, you got to get yourself some of those old records. And there's stuff in these records. If you bite a little piece off, it'll keep you from getting COVID. This would be $1,000 record.
Totally. Yeah, they would be doing it, right?
Yeah. Well, you got to eat some "Swinging Christmas" by Ella Fitzgerald. Oh, who's got that one?
And if you didn't eat that record, you're a science denier.
You're a science denier. Yep. That's how stupid it is, and that's how stupid some people became, that they're willing to do that stuff. And
now, what about the fact that so many friendships and business things have been lost over all these? Myself included. How come? What do you think about that? That's part of the play, right? That's part of the
1,000%. I have friends that we're not friends anymore. It's just amazing to me. You just think for yourself. See, this is what's scary. They've gotten us to a point where we will attack you if you think for yourself. Mm-hmm. If you do not accept what we tell you. And we know that the Fauci was a liar.
Right.
We know now. Even the FBI was like, yeah, we're pretty sure COVID came from a lab and not from bat salad.
Yeah.
But if you had said that, remember, they would kick you off Twitter. The New York Post got kicked off Twitter for the Hunter laptop story. That's a major publication.
I mean, isn't that the longest running newspaper?
It might be the Times. I'm not sure.
I heard something like that. But it's just, man, it's just pretty wild everything we're going through, and to keep, working as comics throughout this and that's one thing I couldn't handle was getting with the masks and all that, being that that's almost our paycheck is seeing smiles, dude.
Yep.
So,
check this out. Chris is talking about Joe the Barber. That's I was just in that county. It's like over right around here. I'm thinking, Chris, right around here. It's what's he saying? It's Western Michigan, and that's where the barber. He goes, I'm not closing. But here's what people don't realize: next time you vote for sheriff, you vote for an American patriotic sheriff, because the sheriff said, nope, not in my county, Whitmer. That man is open for business. I'm not arresting him. And there is nothing she could do. He has the power. Your local sheriff has way more power than you think he does. And I'm just learning about this stuff now. And there was a woman from Poland when it was communist who owned, I want to say, a pizza joint, Chris. And she's like, I'm not shutting down. This is like communism. I'm not doing it. So Whitmer had the Michigan State Police hang outside her house, wait for her to go to work, pull her over, take her in. She got up at like 6, maybe 6:30. She's out the door, and they arrested her. Go, no, you opened. You were selling your pizza during COVID. How dare you sell pizza?
Wow.
And at the same time, she's at a restaurant. You can't have any more than 5 friends. She's there with 10. Don't go to Florida. She's getting jetted down on a private jet to Florida. She broke all her own rules. She's a horrible commie.
Wow. Whitmer is, right?
Yep. All right. See, yeah. Chris has got the information there.
Mason, Manistee, and Oceana fought back.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah. So what's go ahead.
I was just going to say, half the counties in Michigan are Second Amendment sanctuary counties now. That means
you can keep your gun.
Yeah, and most of those sheriffs, like if they say, "Well, hey, we got so and so here. He's writing stuff, but we would just want to take his gun." And the sheriff can say, "No, you can't take his gun just because you don't like what he writes, because that's the next step." It's a lot of this is about taking guns. That is what they want.
And we were talking about what we saw going on there in Israel is like, if you're those people, you want to have a gun when the other groups are coming at you, right? It's like,
if Hamas is kicking in my door and Biden took my gun, well, this is on him. Like, I wish I had a gun.
Right.
You shoot the first 2 Hamas guys, maybe the rest don't come. Maybe they go to the next house. Maybe they get out of your neighborhood.
And they're kind of like trying to make it so that American regular people are bad. Like, we're scared, we don't agree with you, so we're bad, like.
Well, yeah, look at I think it's the FBI said certain symbols, the Betsy Ross flag is a sign of domestic extremism.
Sheesh, man.
That Gadsden flag, the yellow one with the snake, says "Don't tread on me." That's a sign of domestic extremism. Now, there's an old lady in my neighborhood with a Betsy Ross flag sticking on her porch. Like, is she really a problem? To some people, and the people who are in law enforcement, yeah, that's a problem. She's a problem. They don't know who's there. They just see it and they go, that's a sign of domestic terrorism.
Yeah, that's a problem. Trevor Trez, who you got to go to Vegas and do his show if you haven't already.
Sure.
What's he say? He says, the New Mexico governor. Oh, we can do that. Oh, that's cool. We can put, we just learned something that you can put those on the screen.
Nice.
I hope that's how it works. The New Mexico governor trying to ban guns was a test to see what the sheriffs will do.
Yes. 100%. And now that New Mexico governor might lose her gig.
I hope so.
She should, because
come on.
Yep. And now keep in mind, that's New Mexico. That's not California.
Right.
That's cowboy country, right?
Yeah. I've been through New Mexico a bunch. They should not be having rules like that.
No. And I can't believe they would even allow. But to imagine the Stones to pull that in New Mexico.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. And that's what there's just such a big the politicians are no longer working for us, right?
No.
They're starting to take that step to try and control us.
Yep. It's communism. It's Marxism, baby.
Arizona is a mess too.
That's 100% true. I have a good friend in Arizona, and now Arizona is legit cowboy country too.
Oh yeah, dude.
But like Tucson is all lived out.
Well, Phoenix was my number one place for attendance for my shows.
Really?
I don't know why it is, but I always had the biggest draw I would in Phoenix. And then I was like, well, I think it's kind of because they're kind of cowboyish, but kind of, they're on the West Coast there. But I couldn't believe that they would vote for Biden, who's like yelling they want to take their guns, where that's the type of place where you do a show and they're like, you better be funny or we'll shoot you.
Yeah.
So,
Arizona it's sad what's going on there.
Yeah, dude, I like that. I found out how to do this thing.
Yeah.
Put the questions up there.
Yeah. Rich white folks from Michigan and California. That's the problem. It's amazing to me that the rich people, here's the thing. if communism actually Marxism takes hold here, all right, Antifa doesn't realize they're the first ones to get shot.
Okay, and why is that?
Because that's what the communists do. They said, hey, thanks for doing our dirty work. Thanks for burning the buildings and whatnot. But you're violent and you're a threat to us, and you're not. You don't have a seat at the table. So they're the first ones to go.
Okay.
And the rich people, yeah, Marxism, we got to be fair. They're going to be living in pods and eating grasshopper, stew with us. They're not going to be rich anymore.
Right.
That's how Marxism works. You've got your wealthy people here who have all the houses and whatnot, and you've got the worker bees here, and we all live in pods, and everything's fair because we're all broke.
And that's kind of the way that they're pushing California.
Yep, 100%.
I mean, when I was leaving California, it was like, okay, we still had all the millionaires, houses, and in here, homeless row everywhere.
Yep, absolutely. And now they're fighting for the rights of homeless to encamp. Why don't you fight for the rights of homeless people to maybe get a house and a job, and not like, oh, we're going to let you live in a tent. No, that's not bringing them up. That's bringing them down. You know what I mean? So when you allow that, you're saying, yeah, we're going to allow you to live in a tent. There was a time in New York City when you were homeless, you went to jail.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
No, that's a little over the top, though, right?
The vagrancy was a law. Like, you can't, yeah. But it was like, all right, now get a job. You can stay in this flop house for a month or two, but you got to get a job.
And we've got, oh, snap, Hawaii fire somehow missed rich folks' homes.
I don't know a lot about that, but here's what I do know. I know that people were driving away and there was a barricade out of town that said, no, we don't know what's down there. You can't go. And some of them said, F you, and went around it. And the ones who turned around and went home all died. They all burned to death.
Once again, you got to say F you and go around it.
Yep.
Because that Hawaii thing does seem weird, that Oprah's house got, and then her and The Rock are out there asking for contributions. And
yeah, I can't wrap my mind around all of that yet. I haven't. So he's right. Why? How is that? How come only the poor people burned?
Yeah, there's something to be it. And apparently they were trying to buy land from some of these people and they didn't want to sell it. And now they're going to, try to put this 15-minute. Yep.
And now all these people they're homeless, but they got their cell phone. And hey, you want to sell your plot of land? It's all charred. Yeah. It's just everything about it stinks. I don't like it. I don't trust it. Richmond, north of Richmond, 100%. That song says it all.
Yeah. As Billy Williams has the Y'all's Country Club in Covington, Ohio, where I do shows every year. So nice. You got to come out there, dude.
Okay, I'll do
it. And then we got blue roofs. Okay, so that's with Hawaii. Do you know about that? Some of the roofs were blue, or
I've seen some were blue, some were red. I don't get it.
Yeah.
I will say this. I think there's people pumping out bogus information to both the left and the right. And I think it's the same team perhaps doing it just to keep people angry and afraid and talking and going into the wrong directions when we should be like, don't let them focus on the truth. Show them this over here. So I don't know. There is some, I hear people talking about it, but I don't know anything about. I'm not like a QAnon guy.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying you got to be QAnon to even look at this stuff or anything, but I'm just like, there's some things I don't know anything about. Land grab. Yeah, the total land grab. But here's the thing. Did they start that fire for the land grab, or was there a fire that went, cool, let's do a land grab? Like,
I don't know.
I don't know either.
That's a good one. I don't know. That part of me feels like maybe it was there, but who knows? But
yep, kill all the low. BlackRock, yeah. Oh, BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard. This is where the communism comes from, because they have all the money, and that's why they're making. That ESG. You know what that is?
No.
Environmental and social governance. So they're governing your environmental and social. Are you green? Are you woke? If you're not green, you're not woke. Well, the way it works in China now, let's say they have digital currency, and you're going, I'm going to get a soda. I'm going to get a pop from this machine. You put it in and it goes, doop. Your ESG score is too low because you tweeted something about the fires in Maui.
Oh, wow.
So you don't get a soda, you don't get on the bus. Now you got to walk home. Like, they'll let you get a mile away. Then you go home, your ESG score. Sorry, man. You got to take that down. You got to wait 3 days. So, you want to buy meat? No, not with that ESG score.
Wow. So it's a social credit score.
Social credit score. And this Vanguards, these guys, they're the ones, they invest. They decide which companies they will invest in and which ones they won't. And the only thing more powerful than those people are we the people.
Mm-hmm.
Look at Bud Light.
Yeah.
Look at Disney. If you own stock in that and you're about to retire, you're going to Walmart to work because we the people said no more.
Yeah.
And their stocks have tumbled. And the more you say no to those people, the more it falls apart. And then eventually other people start losing money. And the people losing money go, hey, man, I'm no longer cool with losing money. This is not acceptable anymore. We got to fix this. And that's another reason we win. That is another reason we win because too many rich folks are going to lose too much money. And that's see, right now the poor people are hurting. Inflation's hurting poor people. When you start hurting the pocketbooks of the rich people, then
it switches.
Yeah, they're like, oh, all right, maybe this ESG thing's not so good.
Yeah.
Because look, hockey went woke, and a bunch of players said nope, and a bunch of fans said nope, and so they kind of said, okay, you don't have to wear the gay jersey. We'll just let that.
Right. I can't even believe they were trying to do that in hockey of all. I mean,
I know.
It's like, come on, dude. It's the first site suggested for the 15-minute cities. Oh, so the Hawaii, and that's the weird shit. The 15-minute cities.
Yeah. There's this company that bought up a bunch of land near a California air base, and they think that's going to be a 15-minute city. That's communism right there. That's what China has. We don't want those.
And that's where you control where. So I want to just be able to jump in my car and go, I'm going to go to DC and do a show. I'm going to go drive to New York and do a show.
No, you won't have a car. According to the World Economic Forum, by 2030, most cars will be electric, and by 2050, most people won't have them. By 2030, according to the World Economic Forum, if they have their way, you get to take a 900-mile flight every 2 years for the environment. Remember, now here's something people need to realize:
900-mile flight every 2 years, dude. That doesn't even get you from Ohio to California.
Does not even get you to Vegas.
Wow.
Yep. Now people need to realize two things: tyranny. Several things. Number one, tyranny comes in disguise as virtue. So they'll say, "Well, we got to take your car for the planet. Everything's going to be about for the planet, for the planet." They're already going after pets. Now, what do you mean they're going after pets?
If
you Google pet food, climate change, you'll say, oh, Fido's little feast there is made by cows, and cows are bringing their cow farts make the weather bad. So everything, all the tyranny comes disguised as virtue. It's all about to save the planet. It's all about, are you woke? So if you think it's wrong for a dude in a dress to take your sister's spot on the soccer team, well, you're not woke, you're bad. So it's all about, if you're not woke, you're bad. And if there's something they want to take from you, your car, your dog, that's to save the climate. Remember, the Soviets did the same thing. It's all for the people. It's all, we need to take your farm for the people. So we're going to kill you, and then we're going to take your farm, and we're going to decide who gets to eat.
And the people would be in them, because the thing, I was telling this to the guy on the train yesterday, was that, he grew up around here, didn't see much, but it was like, dude, the farmers, the small time farmers are the guys that you want making, they're going to do the best job with their food. They care about the animals. They care about this. You get these big corporations, you get the government involved, especially, forget it.
See, so Trevor says social credit score for business, 100%. These BlackRock types, let's say you own Swinetime Industries,
okay,
and you need to take a loan, as most companies do. I'm going to borrow, and Trump has done it. They're going to go, nah, we don't like your credit score. You don't get the loan. But this woke guy over here, or we're going to give him the loan. He's going to build right next to you. Now, Swinetime Industries is gone in 4 years because they gave it to the woke guy.
Dang, that's terrible. Okay. And then we got Black Mirror is becoming reality. I never really saw Black Mirror, but I believe that's true, huh?
Yeah, you got to check that show out.
Do you think that they put these type of things on these shows to give people a forewarning, or to start putting things in, like we were kind of talking about, which a movie I haven't seen, but you were talking about, I want to see, is The Purge, like how they put these type of things into people's minds, maybe?
Right. That's a good point. See, here's the thing. I think Hollywood is woke, and I think most of what comes out of it is. You've probably got a few outlanders out there doing real stuff. Are they letting us know? Someone told me, he said, yeah, this is a hint. This is like getting you ready for it.
Yeah.
Like to make it, to normalize it. Could be, yeah.
Let's see. You can only travel out the city if you got a good credit score and can do it a couple times a year. Yep. That's part of the agenda of.
Yeah, and again, it's fossil fuels. We got to cut down to save the planet. You know what? There are people who believe that the World Economic Forum wants to depopulate the planet by a couple of billion.
Well, I believe that because I went to the in Atlanta, or not Atlanta, in Georgia, the before they got knocked down, it was the oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm forgetting what it was called. The pillars, the
in Rome?
No, and sorry, in oh my gosh, man, it got blown up. It was in Georgia.
Oh, I know what you mean. The
how am I forgetting? I went there. Dang it.
The pillars of knowledge or something. I know what you mean.
It was the
they were blown up.
Yes, and but on that it said that they wanted the population to be 500 million, a one court system, one language, and so yeah, that was pretty crazy. So I think that sounds like the Hunger Games guys. Yeah, it does, right? It seems like they're.
I never saw that.
Well, that's where the Hunger Games is basically, they kind of kill each other and they watch it, and then the survivors get to go on, and the rich are making the poor people fight each other. And
gotcha.
Can only travel out of the city if you got good credit score. Yeah. And
it's
then
coming.
Yeah.
It's time for people to wake up.
Okay, so we're living in the color revolution 2.0 right now. So what's that mean? Do you know, Kev?
No idea.
Okay.
Sorry, buddy.
Trevor, we got to look that up. 100% predictive programming. That's what we were talking about.
Yep.
1984 was literally a warning. That's what we talk about that all the time. That was literally a warning. But now how do we... Okay, so there's these 1984 Brave New World. These two books, both written right after World War II. Negative, both of them in negative for humanity. How do we switch that? How? Because there aren't any books in positive for humanity, right? And I'm a fighter, dude. Even if I'm going up against somebody, even in wrestling, when I had to go against the, 3-time state champion, I would put it in my mind, I'm gonna win. I didn't, but I scored a takedown once, right? So but how do you win these battles, right? How do we not let 1984 become a reality?
Well, I think the number one thing, and I haven't seen it happen yet. So let's look at what we allowed. We allowed ourselves to get locked down. We allowed Antifa and BLM to burn the joint down. I thought that would wake people up. Right. That didn't do it. We allowed a situation right now. There are people who say, if you don't accept that your little boy wants his penis cut off at 15, then you should not have custody of that child.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Here's what I think. I think they pulled the trigger too soon. They went after the kids too soon. And I think the more people realize and wake up going, wow, they're really doing that to kids who are confused. I think that's their big turnaround for us. That's how we win. We go, nope, you don't get to do that to kids.
Yeah.
There's a horrible case. This school told this girl, she had a rough life. When she was only 2 years old, she had been so abused that her grandparents adopted her from her mom because her mom was a wreck. So this girl had really bad problems growing up, and she had just come out of a mental institution when she was 14. She goes to school, and two people at her school go, oh, you're not a tomboy, you're a boy. So you should live as a boy. So she's 14. They tell her to use the boys' room. Well, the boys are threatening to beat her up and rape her. They're grabbing at her and whatnot. So she can't stand it. And her grandparents who are raising her, they don't know about this. So that little girl runs away. Well, who picks her up first, you think? Well, a pedophile who rapes her. And then he drops her off to two more pedophiles. They rape her. They drop her off to another pedophile who rapes her and traffics her out for money. So she went from no sexual experience at all to getting raped multiple times and being trapped in the course of a month. So now the cops got her. And so she's in a liberal court in Maryland, and her grandparents don't know she's going by boy pronouns. And so, and the school said, you pick a boy's name. And the grandparents don't know anything about this. So the grandparents are talking to her over Zoom, and they're calling it, yeah, she was the this lawyer there goes, it's not she, it's he. And the judge kicks the grandfather out because he didn't use the right pronouns.
Wow.
So they go, we're not releasing you to her. We're sending her to a boys' home where she gets raped by a bunch of thugs who are in the boys' home. Runs away from there, goes to Texas to where I met this boy online. He likes skateboarding too. No, he's a pedophile. He rapes her.
Oh,
but Texas gives the girl back to her grandparents.
Wow.
And now she's safe. But
Jesus, what a horrible life.
And there's liberal, not even liberal, it's leftist fingerprints all over that girl's tragedy. The school talked her, the lawyer in Maryland kept her there and sent her to a home to get raped again. So it's Marxist, cultural Marxism all over the place here. And the only way she gets home is a conservative judge in Texas goes, well, you need to go home to your parents, your grandparents. And that's what should have happened. Well, she never should have been told she was a boy.
Yeah.
And then just beaten up and bullied.
Schools need to stay out of all that stuff.
Stay out. Teach them arithmetic or whatever you're going to teach them.
The place we were looking that I couldn't remember where I went was the Georgia Guidestones.
Yes, thank you.
And on my YouTube page, you guys can see my trip to Georgia Guidestones. It was the creepiest place ever. And it was just gnarly place. My dog actually took a leak on the Georgia Guidestones.
Really?
Yeah, he was walking around.
Was it blown up when you saw it?
No, it was before it got blown up. I was there in some point in 2020, I think, when I was doing a lot of driving. And I was going towards Florida, and I was like, I want to see these Georgia Guidestones. And they have, 10 different languages, 10 rules, and then somebody blew them up, I think in 2022.
Yeah. And you know what? Did they ever find out who did that?
No, as far as I know. I don't know if they
did. The federal government, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives go, wow, there's some explosives.
Yeah. Unless it was inside,
Yeah.
The one theory about it is that they're about to start their plan, and that's why they blew it up.
Mm-hmm.
So, not a proponent of isolationism, but what if we closed our borders and focused on America? Coming from Chris. What do you think, buddy? You
got to close the borders. See, the open borders is part of the World Economic Forum plan. Move the third world into the first world. That's all that is. And I'm not an isolationist either, but you got to close the borders. You know what? When Obama said we're going to build a wall, everyone cheered. When Trump said it, he was a racist. But it's all part of the plan. You got to shut the borders out. Right now, I think there's up to 7 million people here. There are more illegal immigrants than the population of like 12 states.
Wow. And why are they doing that? To throw up the votes, to get unrest in the country? What do you think it is?
It's both of those things. They need chaos for communism to come in. That's why they're letting the criminals out.
And one thing I noticed is that if you're not from here, you don't have, like, for instance, I went to visit Honduras, and they're used to the police pulling them over and having to pay the police on spot.
Mm-hmm.
So they're not me. I'm not. I get my day in court.
Mm-hmm.
So they're kind of forcing that. They're not used to the way we have it here, right? They're not used to standing up for yourself and you get your day in court. No. So they want to bring those people in who are more easy controlled than what we were taught with the Constitution from a young age.
Absolutely. They're easy to control. They're going to financially break the system. Eric Adams, the mayor of New York, is going, this is going to destroy the city. Well, that's the plan, dummy.
Yeah.
Chicago, they just kicked people out. They're living in police stations, and they're both of their airports. They're just kicking them out of the police stations. Because, imagine you're a cop, you're going to work, and there's just a bunch of people camped out in your lobby.
Right.
That's what they're allowing. They're overloading the system. They're bringing them here. Say, all right, you're not going to live in the third world. You're going to live here. We're going to control everything. And remember, poor people are easily controlled, because if your food, your home, your health care, everything comes from the state, you're going to do what they say, or you're not going to have your food.
100%.
And these people will be very easily controlled because they're coming from a worse place than they're used to. So they're going, this is great. I get to live in a hotel. Who do you want me to do? But keep in mind, certain cultures don't mix. That's why when you see a lot of Muslims moving to Europe, well, they have it's different culture. Women aren't like equal citizens there. And that doesn't work in the West. And that's why you have so many fights. And the sexual assault thing is over the top. And but they just see like Western women as pigs or dogs, as they say.
Yeah.
And so you can do whatever you want to it. It's just a dog. These cultures don't mix. But the World Economic Forum, the people pushing this, they know that. And they know there's going to be fights. And it's all this chaos is going on. And they're going to say, we can fix it. We got this, guys. And that's called a process called normalization. They create a crisis. They fix it with normalization. And that normalization is communism. And that comes from Yuri Bezmenov himself.
Yeah. The Russian. And then we got...
wait, about Michigan?
Oh, sorry, I missed that. Let me go back up. How do I
don't know.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Sorry. Michigan just overturned a case due to pronouns. Disgusting.
Yep.
You heard about that?
Yep.
Okay.
Absolutely. It's horrible. And now in all the courts in Michigan, they have to go by whatever pronouns you pick. So if you go to court in Michigan, you say, you can say my pronouns are penis humongous. And legally, they gotta go with it. That's what I'm going to do.
That's my strategy. Hopefully, I never go to court in Michigan. Rico Tater says, "Good dog," about my dog, Best DP and Humvee on the Georgia
funny.
Guidestones. You're right. Dragging the USA, Pamela, dragging the USA into the third world. It has to stop.
It's, you know what? I got to tell people, if you want this to stop, you can't vote for Biden. You got to get your mom, your dad, whatever.
Now,
tell them not to vote for. Those are the people hardest. Like, they don't understand. They don't see it. They think they still think they live in a JFK world. Well, they don't even know the JFK world they lived in, where, you know, we've got a system to keep the commies out. No, the system is commie. And they're. I mean, I'll tell you this. I'm 57. 10 years ago, if a bunch of blue-haired knuckleheads had decided they're going to burn the city down, the cops would have just beaten the hell out of them. But now they let them do it. It's a summer of love. You can take over part of the city. No way. Like, look how far we've fallen.
Yeah, huge, good point. The illegal immigration.
Take the schools back.
Yeah, that's the one, the main. Illegal immigration has collapsed the country. This has been done throughout history and is happening in Europe.
Absolutely, it's true. 100%.
Watered down. He said, you nailed it. Watered down American values.
Of course, yeah. American values are bad. They're racist. They're this or that. No, man, it works. And it works for it works for black people. It works. You got a mom, dad, kids, nuclear family. And these are the rules. These are the laws. These are the rules. We don't do this. We don't rape women because they don't believe the religion we believe. You don't do that. These are our values. And that's why this country's great. And that's why they're taking it down. And there's no one dropping food to us when this goes down. Like, America will drop food over to, where they need it around the world, ammo, whatever. There's no one coming to save us. This is it. We're living through historic times, my friend.
Yeah. Pamela, I have a Nicaraguan story from when I was working with the World Vets. The police stalled me every day at the clinic. Okay.
Wow. I believe it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because, see, in the U.S., like you said, you have your day in court. Now, I'll say this. Any of these third world countries, they've had 250 years to copy our Constitution. And they haven't.
Right. And it's worked. I mean, maybe not perfectly, but generally speaking, it's pretty well agreed that America is the most free place, even though we got a lot of problems.
Yeah, but imagine living in a country where the cops will pull you over and you got to bribe them to go away.
Yeah.
Or you go to jail.
That's what I saw. Man, it's crazy.
That's the stuff they got to stop. And I don't know if they ever can, but they should start. Well, wait, is it El Salvador that... Okay. Remember I was talking about Franco from Spain?
Okay.
Spain had a civil war, and the communists were like raping nuns and whatnot, remember? Yeah. So the guy who took over, far-right Franco, he was a monster.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So look what's going on in El Salvador. They got a right-winger in. What's the first thing he did? Locked up thousands of those MS-13 guys. Did they do anything wrong? I don't know. Did they have a day in court? I don't know.
But he's like, it's time to clean it up, and this is what I'm doing, and I'm going over the top to do it.
And that people don't realize the response to this is over the top.
And now, well, speaking of over the top, you got to think like, you got Hillary Clinton on there now saying that she wants to reprogram all the people who didn't vote for her.
Yeah.
So are they going to come and
100%
over the top, knock us over the heads with the club?
100%. It happened in the Mao's revolution in China. If you're not on board, you go to a re-education camp.
Yeah.
You watch.
That's what she was kind of talking about.
Yep. Now, people don't know this, but there was a law in New York where Kathy Hochul had COVID camps, and she could send anyone there for any amount of time necessary based on COVID. And it was very, like, you didn't have to be COVID positive. Like Australia, they did it. You hung out with a guy whose sister has COVID. We're putting you in a camp for 2 weeks. That we're this close away. And Kathy, she lost that battle. There was a big court fight, and she lost. He said, all right, you don't have the right to do that. She's fighting to get that right back. And if you think COVID or, political beliefs are separate, you watch. It's going to be a bunch of Trumpers in those COVID camps.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you didn't get the vaccine. It doesn't work. Well, we've decided it does.
Yeah, we've decided it does.
Yeah.
Totally. Democrats have been in charge of education curriculum since the 60s, and it shows.
100%. That's one of the communist goals. Take over the schools. Take over the curriculum. Talk crap about the founding fathers. They're out of date. They're racist. They're out of touch. They're elite. And now, the trigger warning, if you go to see the Constitution of the United States, the Declaration of Independence, trigger warning. This document may offend you in that.
And what? How could it offend?
It's all part of the plan
to bring it down to decredit it.
Decredit it. Well, there was slavery then. It says all men are created equal, not the slaves. Good point. But there's no slavery anymore.
Yeah.
Nothing's perfect. Well, you got to take it down because they are taking down. Look at Pete Buttigieg. We got to get rid of some of these racist roads. These roads are built in racism.
That's just beyond.
That's just destruction of the country.
Yeah. So Trevor says, no, there's nowhere to go, nowhere. And,
nope.
And we were the most free. Was the most free. For whom the bell tolls.
There you go. That's the Spanish Civil War.
Okay, cool, good, nice. Good.
You watch. If here's what I was also afraid of happening. People think Trump's a tyrant. He's not. He's a constitutionalist. If Trump doesn't get in, we're going to get one of those Franco guys or that guy in El Salvador. It's going to be over the top, and people with pink hair are going to disappear.
So you think that there would be another guy that would come in that would just be a boom, boom, and because as bad as people are on Trump, I don't really see him as being going to go lock up regular Americans.
He's not, but the guy and look at I said in El Salvador. If you had a gang affiliation, you could just be 13 and you just joined the gang. You didn't do anything. They're in jail because the next response. Look at Israel. Israel's going to flatten Hamas. Every building. Look at the Germans in the Warsaw Uprising. They demolished every building. They said, "Okay, you want to fight back? You're all going." And they demolished. And there wasn't a building left standing after the Warsaw Uprising. They were all demolished. And they rounded up kids because they were running messages. Hung them. That the response is always going to be brutal. And even though that is like, a tyrant attacking good people, you're going to see the right wing attacking these people like Antifa. Let's say what we'll call him American Franco. If he takes over, he's going to punish everyone because that's how you get rid of all of the cockroaches.
Now, which side
you burn the jungle down?
Because which side will it come down on though? Because I could see somebody like Gavin Newsom doing that against us. Like Gavin would.
Yeah, they're already doing it against us. The FBI is already monitoring Trump voters.
Yeah.
So you watch. If we get a Franco in, it's going to be bad for them.
For the other side. Who've been watching us.
Yes, it's going to be bad for them. Absolutely. And don't forget, folks, if you like what I'm saying, listen to my radio show.
Yeah.
Monday through Friday, 10 to 11 a.m., linewsradio.com.
And it's awesome. I was on an episode of it this week.
You got rave reviews, my friend.
Yeah. Hillary was the biggest bullet we ever dodged. Now,
yes,
I have a lot of questions on this topic, actually, because would we have had COVID if Hillary was president?
I don't think so.
Okay. Would things be as bad as they were? What would have, it's all speculation, I understand, but.
Okay. My 2 cents.
Yeah.
if Hillary had won, she would have marched us further into Marxism, but we would have taken it. You know how they say if you throw a frog in boiling water, it hops out. She was going to slow boil us even more.
Okay.
But Trump was a 4-year road bump, and now they've had to speed it up. Now it's going too fast. That's how we win. And they went after the kids too fast. They're like, shit. You know, oops, I don't know if I can curse on here.
Oh, I accidentally dropped it too, so it's okay.
So, like, instead of slow boiling, they had to turn up the water a little bit because now people are going, what? Oh, now we get it because of Trump. And that's why they hate him. And that's why they're coming after him. Everyone involved in persecuting him Letitia James is involved, that woman in Fulton County. And those are just the useful idiots. There are people way above that pulling the strings.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that they would just be following them in.
Yeah,
the pendulum swings for both ways. ... Maybe ...
Maybe, yeah. We need it to, and I think they pull the trigger too soon. And so, I mean, if you get the normie neighbors waking up, you win. We got to wake them up.
Yeah,
everyone needs to know. You can't sit back anymore.
Yeah, it's so funny because there's been this term normies, and it literally is the normies are behind, right?
Yep,
and you try
because of Trump. Yep, Trevor's got it. Yeah.
Yeah. The FBI just deemed all Trump supporters as domestic terrorists this week. Look it up.
100% came out in Newsweek. That came out in Newsweek. Now here's the question. Newsweek isn't the most liberal. They're not the most conservative. They're more liberal than conservative. They do have a couple conservatives there. But here's what I'm wondering. And Dan Bongino said it first. This is not my thought. Is that a warning shot? You vote for Trump, you're on a list. You wear that MAGA cap, you're on a list.
Yeah.
That might be warning. But Trevor's 100% right with that.
And we would have had COVID. They had to deploy it earlier. They had to deploy it early.
You know what? I like that. Yes. I think COVID, yes, because they had to kick it up, pull the trigger on COVID. But he's right. Under Hillary, maybe in her second term, there would have been COVID.
Okay.
And we would have been, oh my God, we all got it.
And we already would have been in lockstep with what they're doing, right? And we would have been, because the thing is, if Hillary would have come in, it would have been such, first one, and all that other nonsense, and we could have been that frog boiling slow.
Mm-hmm.
And he says because of Trump, they moved it forward.
Yes. There's a famous video. There's Boris Johnson from the UK and a bunch of these politicians, and they give a speech, and they're wearing their masks, and they go, and cut, and they all just go, like it's garbage. Everyone knows the masks are garbage. It's all about control. Let's see what else we can get them to do.
Yeah.
We can get them to wear a mask. See what we can get them to put these shots into their kids' arms. Oh, they did it. Oh my God.
Right.
These people are idiots.
Yeah.
And they did it going, we're the good ones.
Right. And you're the bad ones, and you're being criticized, and everywhere you go, criticized. And when you put your opinion out there, you're going to have all this criticism, and you're a bad person, and you're killing grandma.
Yep. They conservative is a new punk. Yes. Kurt Schlichter wrote an article called that from 2014, I think. If you Google conservatism is a new punk, Kurt Schlichter.
Wow.
Yeah. And that was in 2014. People were turning around. I didn't know it yet. But yeah, we would have marched, all of us, into COVID under Hillary in, I think, your second term.
And it would have just bam. And it would have been there wouldn't even be any opposition. We wouldn't even be like, the people who were against the mask and all that stuff would have probably been easier to.
Yep. It would have been way easier. Trump screwed up the World Economic Forum's plans.
And that's what the wars, these battles are really going on between.
Yes, absolutely.
So pray we can keep the Supreme Court.
Yep, that's why they're going after Clarence Thomas. That's why they want to add seats. Once we lose the Supreme Court, it's over. COVID shots will be mandatory. Oh yeah, you didn't get the shot, then you go to the camp. It's all over, and they know that. And what kills me, these lunatics on the far left. They don't understand. They're going to live in pods too. And they're going to be subjected to the same nonsense we are. They're not going to Vegas either.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going anywhere. They're eating crickets. Yeah.
Damn, dude. Well, man, I said 15 or 20 minutes, Kev. I hope you still got time to do the rest of your day.
Yeah, I got to write some articles. Check me out at pjmedia.com. Click on columnist, click on Kevin Downey Jr., and you can read all my codswallop.
Yeah, it's great. Well, dude,
Thanks, buddy.
Thanks for joining me, man.
My
Thank you
pleasure.
guys for tuning in to the Swinetime Podcast. You know what time it is.